10 Cloverfield Lane is about a woman who gets into a car crash and then wakes up inside a fallout shelter held up by a man who says that the outside world isn't breathable and something's going on out there and they can't get outside. So 10 Cloverfield Lane was one of my most anticipated movies of the year ever since the trailer came out in January. Nobody knew about this movie. When the trailer came out, it was a really big surprise on the internet. Everyone wanted to see it. I love the marketing because it really didn't show anything that happens in this movie, which is what I love about it. So before I get in depth into this review, I just need to tell you that if you're expecting to see a movie like the first Cloverfield, do not expect anything like that in this movie, because this movie in its own right is its own movie. It's not a sequel, it's kind of a spin-off, but it really has nothing to do with the first one, because this movie is actually way different from that one. I mean, this whole movie is set in a fallout shelter, the entire movie. You never really get out of there, you never really see the outside world, you're stuck in this bunker the entire movie with Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and she was amazing. First of all, I gotta talk about her. I loved her performance in this movie, one of the best performances she's ever given, because I never really thought of her as an amazing actress. After this movie, really appreciate her acting because she was great. John Gallagher Jr. is in this movie, who played it like, the funny guy, he was just in there to be, like the cool guy, but he really had nothing really to do with the story moving on, but he was great too. He gave a good performance. I really liked his character, and the whole movie is really about Mary Elizabeth Winstead not trusting the character John Goodman plays. He says the outside world is unbreathable, you can't go out there or you die, and you have to stay in the shelter, but she doesn't really trust him. At a lot of moments, he sounds like a psychopath, but at some other moments during this movie, he sounds really trustworthy, even to the audience. That's one of the biggest things this movie tries to do, and that's one of the biggest things this movie does. It really misleads the audience into trusting this guy when you really shouldn't. And a hand of applause to this director. This guy was great. This is his first film, and he did a great job because he made the movie really intense. He made the movie filled with tension. He made the movie suspenseful. He made it scary. I love this guy's direction. Hopefully he makes a lot more movies. Dan Trachtenberg, I'm pretty sure that's his name. I hope he makes more movies on his way, and this is a great first film for him. It was great. And really, this entire movie is just claustrophobic. It's so suspenseful. It's a thriller. It's so unsettling, sometimes disturbing, and it honestly rattled me. And I don't get scared by movies, really, it never. It's a rare thing for me if I ever get unsettled by a movie. This movie really did that for me, and I love that because I didn't think this movie was gonna do that. It unsettled me, it made me nervous, and it made me feel like I was in the shelter with Mary Elizabeth Winstead and John Gallagher. And that's all thanks to the performance by John Goodman. John Goodman was amazing in this movie. He gave such an unnerving performance to this character, and he made us feel like we could trust him at times, but then he just sounds like a psychopath at other times, and he really unnerves the audience because of this. He scared me. He made me nervous. He made me want to leave the shelter. And all this together, John Goodman's performance, Mary Elizabeth Winstead's performance, the entire movie as a whole just comes together, and it's great. One of my biggest flaws about this movie is really the third act, where I won't spoil. Something happens and it's really, really rushed in there. It really changed course for me. The movie was going one way, and then in the third act, it just turned into something else, and I was like, okay, I'll accept it. And this is one of the first movies I've ever seen in a theater where I'm just thinking to myself, I'll pay you some extra money if you could replay the movie right now. I can't wait to watch it again. If you walk into this movie expecting, a big monster like in the first Cloverfield, you're gonna be really disappointed. This isn't your average popcorn horror movie flick. This is another type of movie where it really goes in depth with these characters, and it's really about the story and what they're struggling with. And it doesn't really have to do with anything. It's a great thriller though. It got me scared at a couple points. It got me nervous. And honestly, I can't wait to watch it again. It was great. So guys, if you like this review, please like this video, please subscribe and watch more. See you guys.